I believe we're live everywhere. Yes, God, family. I wanted to come back on. I was on earlier. My battery died, but I'm all charged up now. So I am ready to discuss accountability. And the reason I'm ready to discuss it is because I notice that a lot of my clients and even myself at times have had issues with how to really figure out how to make accountability work for ourselves. So I wanted to just jump on here and talk about the fact that um, when life gets hard and you feel overwhelmed and you feel stuck, the best thing to do is to practice humility and take a look at yourself and take a look at the decisions that you're making that are exacerbating that state that you're in. Okay. So, you may feel stuck, you may feel overwhelmed, you may feel like you have a lot going on. It's hard to keep up with all of your responsibilities and all of your commitments. And that can cause people to start to feel bad about themselves. It can cause people to start to feel disappointed in themselves. And am I on the right camera? Sorry, I just got distracted. I'm not on the right camera. I am still on. Oh, yes, I am. Never mind. Yes, God. so, anyways, you can start to feel negative emotions because you have this voice in the back of your head nagging, telling you that you should be more disciplined, you should be doing these things, you should be making these changes, you know what needs to be done, and you're just not doing them. And you may feel lazy, you may feel confused, and or you may just feel like, you know what, I'll get it together one day. But the thing is that it's not going to change until you change. You're not going to see a smile in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, you're not going to see a smiling face until you smile first. So in order to get out of a slump or feeling stuck, it is completely on you to make those changes. Okay. And you may have tried to address this before, or you may have even been successful before addressing any slump that you were in by being really extreme, being really strict, really rigid. I'm going to do this every day, and this every day, and that every day, and this. And you have a list of 10 things that all require a lot of effort, require a lot of discipline. You may say, okay, I'm going to go from being completely sedentary to I'm going to jump into 75 hard. That is not a reasonable step. So the first thing we need to do is get honest with ourselves and evaluate where we are, because the beautiful thing about small incremental changes is that they are powerful no matter where you currently are. So if you are, on step 1 and you want to get to step 5, the issue is that people are on step 1 and they want to go to step 20 right away instead of, taking step 1, step 2. Okay, maybe now we can go to step 4 and step 6. So it's really important to be mindful and pay attention to exactly where you are so that you are honest and equipped to be able to take the next steps. So when you have all of these different rigid things and rules and beliefs about what it is that you have to do to get yourself together, oftentimes that can keep you stuck because you're not in a position or you don't feel like you're ready to do all of those things. So you may feel like you have to make a million big changes at once, when in reality, it may be 2 or 3 small things that are going to dramatically change your trajectory. So opening your mind to the fact that perhaps there are other methods you can use to get where you want to be versus just what has worked for you in the past. That's going to be really powerful. I have been felt victim to that too. Like, okay, I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to just, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. And in reality, I had to start with the basics. I had to start with not wasting my time scrolling on the phone all day. Not wasting my time with habits that are causing me to be unhealthy. Making sure I go to bed early so that I can get up and be rested when I wake up in the morning. Just those small habits will have a huge impact on the results that you're seeing for yourself. Now, again, this does take humility because you have to look at yourself honestly and you have to admit to yourself, what am I doing right now and what results is it producing? And if I want different results, that means that I'm going to have to change something. Something's got to change. And, pretty much all of us, I think, have that voice in the back of our head that lets us know, like, hey, fucking up. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not, you know what I'm saying? You are designed for better than this. You're designed for greatness, and you really have a lot of potential, and you're not tapping into all of it. So that voice is there for a reason. It's there to kind of push us and to not let us settle in mediocrity. All right. So again, when you're trying to establish a new routine or a new non-negotiable, it can be tempting to feel like it requires a lot more than it truly does, even before you start. So, like I said, if you have this rigid list of rules, a million different things that you got to do starting tomorrow, you're going to probably be like, fuck that, I'm not doing any of it. And so that is important, to be honest with yourself and just make some really small changes at first. Small changes turn into big results. All right. And so the number one way that we can hold ourselves accountable and get out of being stuck is creating those routines for ourselves, or creating those rules or boundaries for ourselves. This is what I do. This is when I do it. I don't do this during that time. I'm only focused on these things. And there are a couple quotes that really lend themselves to this point. One of them is by Mignon McLaughlin, and it says that every day of our lives, we are on the verge of making those slight changes that would make all the difference. The other one by Aristotle is, we are what we repeatedly do. Yes, God. James Clear has a quote that says, if you have good habits, time becomes your ally. All you need is patience. And when I read that quote, I was like, you know what? So I would imagine that conversely, if you have bad habits, then time becomes your enemy, because you're giving your time and energy to these things that are not giving you a return on the investment. There's no ROI. And if there is, it's very, very small. Okay. The main problem, like I said before, is that we're trying to go from step 1 to step 20. We're trying to be completely extreme. I got to overhaul everything. Everything has to change. What I'm doing is not working, so I'm going to change everything that I'm doing. And the thing is that you have to take that first step. You want to jump somewhere and you haven't even really taken inventory of all the little things that you're doing now that are zapping and sucking your energy, and how they're impacting you right now. All right. So the first step, again, is accept and acknowledge that you are overcommitted to the things that don't serve what you are trying to do and what goals you're trying to reach. The second thing is being open to suggestions or alternatives for the small things that will give you big results. Again, just because things work for us in the past, just because we had to be extreme and do X, Y, and Z in the past, doesn't necessarily mean that that is what is required now. And really, part of being efficient, part of the 80-20 principle, Pareto's principle, is making 20% changes to get 80% results, not putting in 80% changes to get 20% results. Okay. And then also, slow and steady wins the race. Have grace with yourself, have compassion with yourself. Be sure that you're making your goals smart, meaning that there is a time frame. There is, a boundary, a limit that you have on when this must be done by in a day. I know that, some of us have different schedules. We have the freedom and the liberty to kind of come and go as we please. Even then, and this is why a lot of people talk about why it's so beneficial to get up early in the morning to start your routines, because you have these blocks of time when not really much else in the world is demanding your attention. Nobody's texting you, nobody's really emailing you, nothing's going on. And that is the time that is prime real estate for your energy, because it's what you do in those waking subconscious hours. When you first wake up out of sleep, it's a very, very powerful time to create. Whatever you're imprinting on your mind when you first wake up in the morning is having a deeper subconscious effect than you may realize. And this is why it's so important to start your day with, positive affirmations, music that pours into you, conversations that pour into you, not scrolling on social media, taking in all the drama and gossip that's going on. Okay. So picking 3 small changes, or having 3 boundaries that you will have around your time and energy. And that, again, includes taking a look at what's going on right now and being willing and humble enough to say, that's working for me right now. I don't think this is going to be, you know what I'm saying? This is not moving me towards my mark. Also, being clear about what your goals are in the first place. You know, a lot of times we talk about feeling stuck, but then we never really define clearly what it means for us in our mind to be unstuck. So getting clear about that will then let us kind of reverse engineer and decide, okay, so since this is my goal, what kind of person is going to achieve this goal? Am I this person right now? And have an honest answer to that question. And if the answer is no, then you look at the habits that that person would have and you start to adopt them. All right. And then also, your self concept is so important. How you think of yourself in your mind. I'm not talking about your ego that you put out to the world. I'm talking about getting real, getting vulnerable with yourself inside and saying, how do I really feel about myself? Do I feel amazing or do I feel like shit? You know what? I feel amazing in these areas, but in these areas, I feel like shit because I know I should be doing more and I know I could be doing more and I know I would be successful if I would be doing more. So being able to be clear about that and then creating affirmations around that new person, creating, you know, once you decide, okay, who is the person that does achieve these goals, that is successful at the things that I desire for myself? How do I affirm that? How do I, you know, create that identity for myself even before I may necessarily see it in 3D in the reality of the situation? Okay. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that everyone is having a beautiful day. And I hope that you are at peace and that you are loving yourself, but also holding yourself accountable. Because when you love yourself, you hold yourself accountable. When you love other people, you hold them accountable. That is a part of love, is to be real with yourself and be honest with yourself and to you know, identify first. The first step is awareness, you know, and this is why things don't necessarily need to drastically change overnight, because when you can adopt the awareness and say, okay, you know what, these few things is not really what I should be participating in, you know, that awareness will take you a really long way, because now, even if you haven't made a change yet, even if you've identified it, you know what it is, but you haven't really started doing anything different, the fact that you're aware of it now, when you are going through the motions of daily life and you notice yourself doing these things or entertaining or engaging in these things, there's going to be a little, your own subconscious is going to be like, no, you said that was a problem. You said you wasn't going to do that anymore, but here you are still doing it. So self-awareness is key. Clarity is key. Also deciding exactly, being specific about who it is that you want to be and what things that you want to accomplish. And then living in that experience before it even happens. And that is through affirming, that is through visualizing, that is through meditating, that is through quiet time, reading about things. There's all types of different ways that we can consume information and consume images that represent where it is that we want to be and where we're trying to go. So I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of your day, and I will check in with you later. Bye. Mama 4, bye. I didn't even see you over there on YouTube. Sorry. I hope you're having a beautiful day. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm going to be coming up on here a lot more frequently, so I hope you're subscribed. Hopefully you'll share this video with someone that needs it. And yes, God, I'll talk to you soon.